This one from Dudley the Gentleman. Hi, DF team. In a hypothetical future where AI-based frame generation successfully moves from interpolation to extrapolation, would this effectively decouple input latency from native frame rate? If so, would native frame rate really matter as much, if at all? My guess would be that more of the GPU silicon should be dedicated to building the highest quality base image to extrapolate from, instead of maintaining a high native frame rate. Alex, thoughts? An interesting conceit.
I would still say no. Of course, you still need a high frame rate at that point, because you're still going to be wanting to run like the game loop and a lot of the other stuff at a higher refresh rates. AI reaction, just input. In a racing game, you're going to want to, we always talk about like the grip of the tires on the road being done at a certain refresh rate higher than what the game is even displaying at. You're still going to be running things beyond what the GPU is. The GPU is not taking care of all these things. It currently isn't for most systems. The future is open to see how much the GPU starts taking over more of gameplay tasks and things like that. But I still think it is still very valuable from an input latency perspective and just a gameplay perspective to have native high refresh rates of updates. It doesn't necessarily mean, though, that the game has to be running at that rate for each. Like the visual rate doesn't have to be completely aligned, but it's always better. I would always say that, even with extrapolation.
I guess the question is whether you can decouple the simulation part of the CPU part of the equation to actually feed into the extrapolation.
I mean, yeah, and it's not going to work for every title, because a lot of titles will require things to be more lock and step. Because if you move more things like physics over to the GPU, like a lot of games now use like SDF for physical interactions, which are actually like world space stuff, and they're testing against that on the GPU side of things. You're going to want to have that aligned at least with what the rest of things are happening. So yeah, I think it's going to. This is a really title dependent question, I think, as well too. So I think, like for your average FPS, well, don't even say FPS. There's not a lot of FPS games these days. For your average third person open world game, you'd probably still want native high refresh rates.
Yeah. I salute your pivot there.
Thank you. I had to think what the most popular thing was. Very briefly, but yeah.